Just have to take a quick minute to thank our sponsors, Yellow Dog Paddle, Mackin's Rip and Lips Fishing Trips, NJFishing.com, and 8 Ball Sportfishing. Also have to thank our supporters, Psycho Jigs, Lip Glue, Nor'easter Hardcore Apparel, Hoggy Time Jigs, The Mimi Sick, and The Gambler. Hello and welcome to episode number 126 of the NJ Multi-Species Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Santiago. As always, my partner, Chris Pereira.
I'm here again.
There he is. Tonight's guest, the NJOA, finally coming on here. We have their treasurer, Tony, is coming. I'm not even going to attempt his last name. We'll let him tell us how he says it. But yeah, NJOA, very important to New Jersey. We're going to get into that conversation, especially to outdoors folk like ourselves. First, Mayhem updates. Big hybrid striped bass got put in by Dwayne Squatchman, 26 inches. Knocked mine off the board. Moved Fast Eddie to 4th place. Me back to 5th place. Tied with Wojcik. We went out. We went out specifically targeting a white perch for the contest. We thought we'd be able to get 3. Me, Chuck, and Chris went. We fished the entire day and finally got 1 in about the last half hour. It was misery.
But just to be clear, we were catching white perch.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we were catching decent sized white perch, just not the ones we needed. And the one we needed came in like the last 20 minutes of the whole day.
I mean, someone on the outside looking into this is going to say, I know what they're going to say because I'd be thinking the same thing, right? They're like, oh, a white perch, a 13-inch white perch, that's easy. I catch that all the time on accident. Go try to do it. Go try to do it specifically. And watch how different it becomes. It
was very difficult, and I was like frustrated the whole day and pissed off. It was not easy. And like I said, we were catching. We caught probably the biggest ones I found this year anywhere that I've seen. And like I said, yeah, all day suffering, and finally Chris hooked one in the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, I don't know. We kind of helped think up this contest, right? Basically, mainly because, the state has a skillful angler program. It has all the species. There's no point system or anything, and you just win a certificate and a patch, and you'd hear it all the time. Guys are like, oh, who cares about that? I don't do it. So basically, they don't do it because they don't care about the prize, which I've kind of like, yeah, we're not really doing it for a piece of paper. They're all just in a drawer or got lost somewhere. Basically, it's more of like, the friendly competition. It's fun. But anyway, it kind of was born from that, right? And so Kevin set up this contest. Kevin really spearheaded this thing and did that and actually did it. And there's real prizes, obviously. And it's kind of just, the point is, it's here now. It can grow to something even cooler the more that people that participate, right? And you still just have guys on the outside looking in, talking about how they could beat any of the fish that are on there, blah, 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 this and that. Well, here's your invitation, okay? It's going to come back next season. It's going to be for basically the entire year. It's going to be an entire season's worth. We're modifying the rules actually this week. Kevin set up a meeting and a bunch of people. I think he pretty much invited anyone that has significant participation in this year's contest and or guys that have showed interest in donating prizes, or that did donate prizes or money to the pool, things like that. I'm not going to name any of them because I know I'll forget them. I don't have a list in front of me. But you could check out the pages with the sponsors and stuff that donated prizes. So we're all going to sit down, have a couple of drinks, and we're going to discuss things that we want to change. We're going to modify things. It's only going to get better. So I don't know. I just want to throw it out there. Anyone who's still talking about how they could, be a contender in this, but still doesn't do it. I mean, you just look at, I don't know. I don't know what to
come on in. Yeah, come on in. We're going to open it up, and you're going to have a lot more time to join this one too. You'll be able to sign up until opening day of trout season, and then a lock.
It's only going to get better every season. I mean, I think
we're going to, and that's what the discussion is basically going to be about, how to make it better. Before we get the guests in, I also want to say 8-Ball Sportfishing out of Point Pleasant. The striper jig bite I heard this past weekend was one of the best ones ever. Everyone is just annihilating stripers down there on jigs, diamond jigs, even glide baits. 8-Ball, the boat we pretty much use for all of our 6-pack charters. He has only 3 dates left. It's all he has.
Yeah, but I have those dates in front of me. So it's November 23rd, 26th, and 27th.
There you go. So if you want your shot at these giant Jersey fish on a jig bite, this is it.
It's a long ways away. I mean, we're not promising that jig bite's still going to be hot, but I mean, there's going to be a bite somewhere on something, and he's gonna be on them. I mean, for sure. And it's just fun. I mean, if you're looking for, and I've heard like a lot of the shore-based guys have been having some trouble on certain days. And I mean, I don't know where all this anti-boat stuff came from, but you got to do what you got to do. The fish don't always swim near the shore, right? If you want to enjoy this striper run, call 8-Ball, man. I mean, get out there. He's got those mini rods from Bogan, and it's going to be a blast.
Yeah, it is. If you want to get on stripers, 8-Ball, perfect, especially more private if you want a 6-pack charter. So call Captain Dom and Kim today. Book your trip with 8-Ball. A lot of people writing in the chat, the NJOA, a lot of people may not know what it is. It is a PAC. It's a political action committee. It's the only one in New Jersey that represents the sportsmen, fishermen, hunters, and trappers. Literally the only one. They're 100% non-bipartisan. They do not support the Democrats or Republicans. They will make a choice and an endorsement of the nominee that they believe best represents the fishermen, hunters, trappers. And then on top of that, they also have to represent the best environmental choice, because if we lose the environment, obviously we lose our fish and game. So the NJOA really is very, very important to fishing, outdoors, and trapping in the state of New Jersey. And I think what the guys are writing in chat are correct. A lot of people don't even know what they are, who they are, which is why I think this episode's important.
I'll be honest, before we started meeting all these people and going to things, and because of this show, I had never heard I'd never heard NJOA at New Jersey Outdoor Alliance. I'd never heard that term. I mean, granted, I had never like seeked out information on it, but you don't know what you don't know. I'd never heard it. And obviously that means I had no idea what it was. I still don't know a ton about it as far as what there is to know, and that's why I'm hoping they could clear it up for a lot of people today. But it's my understanding it's like a coalition of like 30 or so different groups, outdoors groups, hunter groups, angler groups, trapper groups, conservationist groups, and it's a giant it's a big coalition of like all that, right?
Yeah, and we don't have that many lobbyists in New Jersey that are specifically representing the anglers and hunters. These guys are the only pack, like I said, political action committee. And they also they want me to say it 1,000 times to make sure everyone knows they are 100% bipartisan. That means they do not support a party.
We were at the dinner, right? Where, I don't know who set it up exactly, but I know they were part of it.
This is another thing. This is another thing, and I get confused with this too. That the dinner was run by the Federation. Now, the Federation is a completely separate entity that
they have nothing to do with NJ Outdoor Alliance?
We'll ask them. They're involved in it somehow too. They work hand in hand. Like you're calling it a coalition. The Federation is a part of their coalition, but they're not political at all. Like
the details don't really matter for the point I'm trying to bring up. Is a point that I'm trying to bring up is they had a Democratic speaker there speaking to the people.
Yes.
And he was speaking about, I don't remember the details of all that, but it had something to do with hunters' rights, gun rights, things like that. And that's it.
We'll have him here. He's going to be here in a minute or two. Tony, real quick, again, I want to re-emphasize to everyone the Christmas party. We are still building the post for njfishing.com, but the Christmas party is set for December 6th at the Sterling Elks Lodge. And tickets are run very thin already. So if you do want to go to the Christmas party, please reach out to me as soon as you can. Already a bunch of... Toggy Time just gave a custom black fishing rod. I know Chuck Manny's already donated a striper fishing trip for 2. Forgot what else Jerry has. Jerry has some other stuff too. We're going to get the post up on NJF so we can track it better.
You need to look at a list or else you're going to forget things. But I can guarantee you at least 50 to 75% of the donated prizes from last year, those guys are going to donate again. I mean, they always the same. 50 to 75% of the same guys donate every year. Awesome prizes. And
that's the other thing. Pretty much like 80% of the people that came to the party last year are already coming again. So maybe Jerry was right when he told me that we should have moved the party to a bigger place, but we didn't. So we're still capped at 100. So most people from last year are coming again.
Well, it was too late. It was too late this year to get it to a bigger venue. I also don't know, like, how big do we want it to let it get? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. At some point, you got to cut it off, right?
Cut them out, lock the door. But yeah, there's not going to be that many tickets actually for sale by the time everyone who came last year buys their tickets.
And if you want to see some of the prizes, 99% have our Instagram page, I believe. I think all the prizes and stuff might still be up on there on like one of those highlight stories.
On the highlights, and if you search 2024 Christmas party, you can find the whole thread. I'm actually using that list, and all the prizes are on there.
That for sure is still on there. Yeah, on njfishing.com, the whole list, if you search it, is there.
Well, also, if you're looking to fish Lake Apacon, Mackin's Rip and Lips fishing trips, he's been doing really good, especially for walleye. Posted a nice muskie they caught the other night. So Eddie's catching really nice fish. He's almost getting ready to end his season, but he still has about 1 month or so of fishing left. If you want to get a cold water trip in on Lake Apacon, now is the time to call Eddie Mackin.
Hey, let me ask you something. Is the guest ready yet, or do we have a couple minutes?
I haven't seen him come in yet.
All right. Let me ask you something.
Oh, boy.
Do you think that Chuck is toying with me in the multi-species mayhem contest? Like, so he's got a lead, right? And I've been chipping away at it. The other day, we're fishing together, right? You're there too. We're fishing. And he has the third place white perch, right? And we're all kind of fishing, in our minds, you're like trying to mystic. And in our minds, all three of us are going to catch white perch bigger than first place. And we're all going to be, getting points off of this trip, right? And that didn't happen. Like, the white perch just weren't big enough that we were catching. And then at the end, I catch one that's bigger than his third place one, but not bigger than the second place. So I knocked him off and took his spot. And he's measuring the fish for me. He's helping hold the fish down so I get a good picture. And then when we're done, he kind of like smirked at me. And he's like, "Hey, we're a little closer now." And I just looked at him like, "Oh my God, he's messing with me. He's like toying with me like a cat playing with a dead mouse."
I don't know. He stayed off saltwater and missed an unbelievable day striper fishing to fish with us.
He was getting texts about this crazy striper jig bite as they're sitting there like trying to hunt down 13-inch white perch on the lake. And
we were catching white perch that were very close too, but just couldn't.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. We were joking around, joking around, that we were failing at catching white perch, but I mean, whatever. It was fun, right? I mean, it's fishing. It adds a different dimension to fishing, and it's just fun. I don't know. I like it.
All right. Well, the guest is ready. We're going to have to back out and get his audio and mic set up, but we will be back in a minute with NJOA. All right. We are back with the treasurer of the NJOA here in New Jersey. Oh, the trustee. I'm sorry. I messed it up. Anthony Pensabene. Did I say it right?
Close enough. Pensabene. Just call me Tony, my friend.
Tony, welcome to the NJ Multi-Species Podcast. It's so great to finally have you guys here. We have so many listeners that ask us exactly what you guys are, and we don't even know that well. So we're happy to have you here to teach us.
Okay. Let me answer that and try to clarify that. The NJOA basically has three uniquely different wings, right? We have a political action committee, and it's a PAC. It's the only private sector PAC in the state that represents hunters, fishermen, trappers, conservationists, people of our community. That PAC is designed to endorse candidates or provide funding or donation to candidates who are friendly to our cause. And those we focus on those people and only those people. We are bipartisan, I have to say that. We have endorsed Democratic Assembly people in Districts 3 and 4 this year, and we've also endorsed Jack Chitterelli. So you have the PAC, and then we have another wing, which is the Environmental Projects Group. They were the ones who were very vocal regarding the offshore windmills. And then we have the third piece, which is the foundation, and that's currently being restructured, and that's my role, to restructure the foundation. The foundation will raise funds in a very unique way, not only within the state, but I'm planning to do it nationwide. And we also plan to expand the strategic alliances with such other statewide organizations as the Federation, UBNJ, the Beach Buggies, JCAA, et cetera, et cetera.
So, Tony, I'm sure you obviously know we had Jack on the special episode a couple of weeks ago, yes. and he was very proud to have earned the endorsement of the NJOA. We talked to him a little bit about that, and we tried to make it clear too what you just emphasized, that this isn't a Republican or Democratic thing here.
Correct.
It's a bipartisan. You guys are here for the outdoorsmen. You're here for the anglers, the hunters, the trappers, the conservationists. What we are.
So think about Trenton for a minute. Legislation, right? When legislation is voted upon, it could impact sportsmen or our community.
Right.
We advocate for or against legislation, but remember that legislature is dominated by Democrats, right?
Correct.
We've heard that from Jack, and we've had Governor Murphy in for 8 years, right? So we've been kind of behind the 8 ball. Damage control is very good on the part of the NJOA and our sporting community. So yeah, we have to be bipartisan to be able to assure votes from both sides of the aisle.
Right, and I know, and we talked about this with Jack too. Like, outdoorsmen, especially anglers, I feel like just from, ourselves and our friends, we don't like politics. We don't like to talk politics, but you
Right.
have no choice at a certain point because it's going to
That's right.
affect the things that you love
Exactly.
to do.
Exactly.
Right. And so it's kind of daunting to go into the political realm and know about everything that's going to happen. So it's nice to have an organization like the NJOA that we can trust to do that work for us and then come back and give us the information.
Exactly.
We're endorsing this or that and the other thing, and for these reasons, and you have some bullet points and on your website or wherever. And then it makes it simple so that, I don't have to take time. Like, I want to go fishing. I don't have time to go on the internet and study politics of New Jersey and see what's happened, who's trying to do this and that and the other thing. And that's why we need the NJOA.
Yeah.
That's what I've learned from this whole thing.
Chris, that's at the heart of our value proposition. We have a legislative liaison team that we're developing within the foundation right now. And that team will be the team that will, go to Trenton and advocate for or against legislation. We're also looking to hire a lobbyist to help us do that function. You got to remember, we're all volunteers. We don't have time to walk the halls of Trenton every single day. Right. So we're going to work with a consultant and try to get our people in there to set up meetings with legislators, those who sponsor or co-sponsor bills, and again, for or against our sporting community. But that's the value proposition, my friend. You hit it right on the head.
Tony, what when you say your biggest role is rebuilding the foundation, or what does that exactly mean?
Over time, it's been up since 2007. Over time, people age out, and you need people to make things happen, right? So we realize that's a very important component of the NJOA is the foundation. It's that part of the NJOA that raises funds. Most of our donations are from individuals. I'm going to change that. I have in my corporate background, I've been retired since 2018. I was the treasurer of the corporate foundation. So I've been asked to join the NJOA to help them bring back a foundation. My energy and focus will be on raising funds, soliciting them from corporate foundations. Let's give this scenario. Shimano, right? We're all fishermen. We all know who Shimano is, right? Japanese manufacturer. They may not be located in New Jersey. They may not manufacture in New Jersey. But when you look at the supply chain, they're selling their products in New Jersey. We the NJOA, are out there to protect the rights of anglers, hunters, trappers. They have a vested interest that the politicians don't change the game plan, or don't distinguish between consumptive use and non-consumptive use. When you go fishing, my friend, you are consuming fish. When you go hunting, you're a consumer, right? You're consuming wildlife. And then there's the non-consumptive side, those people who ride bikes, those who use their binoculars to bird watch. We're really focused on conservation, is at the core of our mission. But again, our constituents are hunters, fishermen, and trappers.
So basically, these corporations that obviously have a lot of skin in the game here.
You better believe it.
You're trying to bring them in a bigger role to help
to donate to the NJOA, so we could pay our accountant, we could pay our CPA, our attorneys, our webmaster, et cetera, et cetera. I'm trying to outsource a lot of basic functions and pay for them. The only way we're going to pay for them is to raise funds. If you study the Sportsmen Alliance out in Ohio, their model is very similar. Do you want to take just a stab at what their net worth is today? Sportsmen Alliance, $6 million organization.
Wow.
They mimic and they do very much what we do. They've gotten so big that they've gone nationwide.
So in comparison, then what's your guys' number in comparison to that?
We're low.
Okay.
We're under $100,000.
And now that doesn't make any sense when you look at how many hunters and fishermen we have here.
Right. That's right.
I mean, I don't know how many hunters and fishermen they have, but we're so densely populated, and just from like license sales and things like that alone, I would assume it's similar.
And we add saltwater fishing.
That's right. And when you add the saltwater fishing, you look at it, numbers nearly 1 million.
Yeah, the saltwater number adds a huge number to
that's right.
Have to.
outside coastal states.
So
I'm sorry. I have a question from Rock Chain Pickerel. He asked if the NJOA endorses only at the state level or at the county level also.
We've basically what we've done, we've reached out to the both Mikey Sherrill and Jack, and we try to arrange a meeting. And we did that in June after the primaries were settled, right? So we reached out to them. Obviously, Jack got back to us. Mikey Sherrill did not. So we went forward and endorsed Jack. Assembly people in the state have come to us, would you endorse us, in multiple districts? And again, we don't discriminate. If you are a Republican or Democrat, if you want our endorsement and you have a history of supporting sportsmen just like us, the likelihood is pretty high that we're going to endorse you.
And just for the record, too, that Mikey Sherrill also did that to us. Jack responded and came on the podcast, and she didn't even decline us. She just didn't answer at all.
We got declined after the news came out, or after we posted the fact that we endorsed Jack Chidrelli.
We got an email. After she ignored it,
that's pretty much it.
We didn't even get that, but I mean, I'm not like tooting our own horn or anything, but there's no other multi-species fishing podcast in New Jersey. Like, this is the only one. This is the biggest one.
Right.
Jack responded. Jack wanted to come on. He seemed to enjoy it.
Right.
Mike,
I have a question. I have an Andrew Still question.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Same thing is happening with us. I mean, our relationship extends beyond Jack. We're very close with his campaign manager, Eric, and his daughter as well, Alexa.
Yeah,
wait, just real quick, Joe, before you go to your question, Joe, I just want to add, because we get comments from both sides, right? So, and we posted and we said, look, we invited both candidates. Only Jack answered. We posted the episode, whatever. We post our clips from the episode. And, people will come on and try to argue with us. And one of the arguments was that, he's going to say what you want to hear and then not do any of it. And I specifically brought that up to him. I said, this is why outdoorsmen, the outdoorsmen that don't vote, I know why they don't vote. They don't vote because they think that way.
Right.
And he gave the best answer possible. I'm not going to try to quote him. You can go on there and look, but he basically said, I'm not a politician. I'm a CEO. I like to fix things. I want to fix things. I want to fix this state. I want to protect, the rights of the outdoorsmen. And my answer to these people that think that way is like he's endorsed by the NJOA. That in itself, we don't vote and then forget about it. We vote and then we hold them accountable. They know this. They're there. They don't just take the endorsement and run. Right. They actually try to do the things that they say they're going to do.
Yeah. Chris, after he wins tomorrow, I know for a fact that his door as governor will be open to the NJOA for future conversation.
He told us even the door's open. I feel like he'll come back on the episode after.
He will.
Yeah.
He will.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he will.
Tony, Andrew Still is asking, is the NJOA a 501-C-3 not-for-profit or all volunteers?
Great question. Okay, I mentioned there's 3 wings. The PAC is a 527, Political Action Committee. The environmental projects, that's a 501c3, that's a charity. The foundation that's being restructured by me is a 501c4. It's an action organization. Our bylaws will specifically say we will lobby and we will attempt to influence policy and regulation as it relates to hunting, fishing, trapping, outdoor sporting activities. That's pretty much, in a nutshell, the difference between the 3 groups. But we are the action organization. The foundation will be the foundation action organization. Sorry.
Okay.
And now I know a lot of people sometimes they get the NJOA confused with the Federation, and I know you guys do a lot of things together. Like
Yes,
me and
that's
Chris
true.
went to a dinner. We went to a skillful anglers dinner that we were invited to, and I think we still don't know who ran it.
Princeton? That was in Princeton.
I think so.
Yeah, it was in
and we don't
Princeton.
know if it was the
Yeah.
NJOA or the
All right,
Federation or both.
I could answer that. When I retired in 2018, the first thing I did, to give back, I became a hunter ed instructor. I specialize in archery. And then I joined UBNJ as a council member. That's the equivalent of a board. I'm also on the board of the New Jersey State Federation of Sportsmen Clubs. I'm their membership director. And now I'm a trustee with the NJOA, kind of put into that situation to, as I said, to work on the foundation. So they are two very distinct groups. They have their own mission statements. I would say, like I said earlier, the strength of the NJOA or its value proposition is our ability to lobby. They do not lobby. If you want to kind of change the composition or make a distinguishment between the NJOA and the Federation, they do not lobby. We do. That's exclusive to us.
So
Okay.
how does someone actually become involved with the NJOA? Do you just donate money, or do you volunteer time, or?
Yeah, to be honest with you, the foundation that we're developing, we are not going to have members. There's a legal risk in membership. If they join our organization and if we are sued, rank and file members could be sued. The depth and the breadth of the NJOA will be 3 new board members that we're now setting up and 9 trustees. And then we have individual donors. But like I said, I'm changing the math a little bit on how to raise funds. I'm looking to solicit funds from corporate foundations, as I mentioned earlier. The Federation, on the other hand, as I said, I'm the membership director. There's nearly 4,600 members. But again, their value proposition is their insurance, liability insurance, their newsletter, and their statutory affiliation with the Fish and Game Council. The Federation is the only entity within the state that is permitted to nominate 6 of the 11 Fish and Game Council members coming from the sportsman sector, right? So we make those nominations to the governor, and the governor has to approve them. Because that's the kind of the value proposition, Federation versus NJOA.
Okay. And you're still current. I missed the one part. You're still currently working with the Federation as well?
Yes, I'm all over the place. Yes. Yeah.
You sound, I just want to take a second here to thank you personally and anyone else that does all this behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
And I know obviously you're still an outdoorsman, hunting, fishing, whatever, as every, I'm sure every member or participant in any of these organizations is a hunter. You're taking time out of that, hunting and the fishing and the trapping and to do this kind of stuff so that the rest of us can enjoy this. And it's kind of making me feel a little guilty.
No, you shouldn't. We take pride and joy in doing that. I mean, it's a community service, right? I mean, people do volunteer. They volunteer with a heart, and then their mind follows. So, why was I brought into the NJOA? Because I had that experience with my corporation as the treasurer of a foundation.
Right.
So I have something to contribute, to help them, right? So of course I said, yes, I'll help you guys.
Obviously I hope that you coming on this show and in the future, anyone else from the NJOA or Sportsmen's Federation is obviously welcome on the show as well. I hope this does help a little bit get some information out.
He does have a lot of pretty interesting questions. Some of them are tough, though. I don't know if he wants all these.
Look, I'm transparent.
Let's let him hear the questions.
Hide anything. I mean, that's not who I am.
Let him hear the questions. If he, for some reason, can't answer details of them, then in the future, someone else from the NJOA that has more information on it can can do it.
Yeah,
okay. Wing it. This says New Jersey fishermen have been asking for brown trout to be returned to the stocking program for over 10 years. If the NJOA truly supports all facets of the outdoors, why has 99% of fishermen not heard of the NJOA?
Right. So here's how the NJOA works. As I said, we don't have a large membership. And what I said earlier is we are trying to bring in the large statewide organizations and large clubs to form a strategic alliance with the NJOA. That's starting up. And that's one of the things I'm doing. So once we go live with the foundation, we'll be bringing in these organizations. So who has that first spear or that first arrow in the quiver? It's not the NJOA. It's the particular club or organization or statewide who's interested in bringing back brown trout. If you need help, you need to ask us through that strategic alliance. Otherwise, we don't know about it, right?
Right. Well, yeah,
So
I said before.
If we can, we'll try to help. You know, I recently got a request for help from the beach buggies. I don't know if you heard, but Island Beach State Park, they go into a lottery system. Yeah. So in terms of the parking permits, right? Mm-hmm. So, you know, that kind of ruffled their feathers. They reached out to me, and I know Mark, the president of the beach buggies. I told them, look, let's set up a meeting with the superintendent at Island Beach State Park. Her name is Jen. She's a sweet lady. I've met her in the past, but obviously she reports to Trenton. So her you know, she does have limits like we all do, right? In a corporate environment or in a hierarchy, which is government, right? So I told Mark, I said, Mark, let's go talk to her and let's formulate a conservation-centric solution that we want to help you, you help us, right? If there is indeed a problem. I don't know if that's going to create a problem. So the first meeting should be fact-finding, right? How will a lottery system impact the beach buggies? How will a lottery system impact the Friends of Island Beach State Park? Right, yeah. These are groups that are active on the beach.
Fishing, yeah. Mobile sport fishing, vehicle permit.
That's right. The lead on this should be the beach buggies or Friends of Island Beach, right? NJOA will assist through a strategic alliance, right? We could bring our contacts possibly into the discussion, but we got to build up to that, right? I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, I mean, basically, I guess they can't just snap their fingers and make things happen.
Exactly.
And if they don't know, you don't know what you don't know. I said that before you came on. As far as
Rock is asking Tony if he feels over the past 8 years, New Jersey has followed a much more progressive ideology on projects like environmental justice and much less concerned with actually making it better for sportsmen.
That's a tough one. There's a lot that could be read in between.
There's a lot of really tough questions here. This is the toughest questions I've seen for any guest ever.
Yeah, because the depth and the breadth of the NJOA is statewide, right? And when we have, like I said, that value proposition with the legislators, right? So we are challenged all the time. But remember, we got 3 board of directors, 9 trustees. That's the Army. That's the leadership and the entire Army. Yeah. We're gonna rely on the sportsmen, the other statewide entities, the other large clubs to kind of provide muscle and boots on the ground to get things done. That's what we did with Jack's campaign. We reached out to them for them to solicit and advocate to go out and vote. As you said, you got to go out and vote. If you just sit at home, that one vote is valuable, and that's what we've been told by not only Jack but his campaign manager. We got to get the vote out. Every sportsman I spoke to, this is just me, and I asked them, who you voting for? The answer is Jack. I mean, it's across the board, and that's basically what we've been told to do. Get your people out there to vote. That's the most important thing. And here we are on the eve of Election Day, and we're talking about that. I think we're going to do fine.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's other things to take into consideration when you vote, but we all love the outdoors, hunting, fishing, and conservation and everything outdoors so much. It's a huge part of, when we vote. I'm sorry, maybe not all of us, but to me, it's a huge part of it. And
Chris, it's our culture, man.
Yeah, and for the other candidate to not even acknowledge like invites to this or discussions, it's kind of, I don't know, it disgusts me.
It's
honestly.
Demoralizing, right? It's demoralizing. I would love to have met with her. I really would. When with our mission to be bipartisan, you can't ignore the fact that the Assembly and Senate, the majority are Democrats, right? So we got to be able to work with them.
We're a simple fishing show. We asked the same. We posted the questions in the email, the same 5 questions. They both got almost identical emails, minus the names and whatever.
Yeah.
And not even a response. It's just
A couple people are asking if a person is able to attend an NJOA meeting.
Okay, that's a very good question. Currently, until the foundation is up and running, we have a weekly meeting every Thursday by phone among the trustees at 7 a.m. That's the extent of conversation, right?
So that's not open to
that
the
is
public.
But in the bylaws of the foundation, as we're resurrecting it, I'm planning to hold monthly meetings, and of course, give me a call and we'll talk about it. And I'm not going to turn away anyone.
So if someone wants to know, hey, what are you guys talking about? Like what's coming up for votes, or what are you guys up to?
Here's the answer. If there's 2 things that the NJOA is focused on right now, big time, it's funding. For marine fisheries, funding is absolutely necessary. That's got to hopefully be done in 2026. And then access. Think about access for a minute, right? We just talked about a lottery system for Island Beach State Park. Are you guys aware of Wharton? What happened before the deer season in 2024? The road closures in Wharton State Park.
Did I just see something about this happening now, or is that different?
The Island Beach State Park thing with lottery system that just happened now.
I'm talking about
with
the
birds. Is it for the bird spawning? They closed half of the.
No, that's the beaches. That's the beaches. I'm talking
someone's
about
someone's actually complaining about that in the chat.
Let me finish this thought.
Okay.
Yeah, let me finish this. And again, it's access, right? There's a bill out there that's been passed through the Senate, 39-0. It's called the Lake Access Bill. And basically, the scenario is you have a lake that's owned and managed by the state, but the surrounding property is owned by private individuals. So access to that lake could be a challenge. So we're working on that. The other thing that really struck me hard, because keep in mind, I am a fisherman. I got my Boston whaler parked right in my garage right now. I've been fishing out of the Manasquan for 2 years now with my wife. She's my best friend for over 40 years. She's my fishing partner. So I do fish and I do bow hunt. I mean, to decompress tomorrow, I'm not planning to watch the return on the elections. I'm going to put myself in a tree stand and bow hunt deer. That's what I'm doing. That's who I am. So, I think I went off track there. But did I answer the question? The issue with Wharton State Park, it's a huge state park down south. 2 weeks before opening day 2024, the Parks Department announced they're closing roads. There were, I believe, over 200 miles of roads, and it went down to about 28 accessible for hunters. Now, all the land is still available to hunters, but access through the roads that you've used in the past to get to your hunting grounds, those roads were closed. And why were they closed? You had people with quads, unlicensed quads, that basically tore it to shreds, right? There's a lot of natural habitat in there, right? That's irreplaceable. If you destroy it, it may not come back. So DEP, Parks Department, made a very tough decision and really pissed off a lot of hunters who were depending to go hunting in Wharton 2 weeks before opening day. So that's access, right? It's all about access when you close a road.
This is like seems like a common theme here. I don't know if it's just New Jersey or everywhere, but like this, there's a common theme, right? Where a couple of people like that aren't they're not licensed anglers, they're not licensed hunters.
Right.
They are breaking the rules.
Right.
And then instead of punishing these people,
right,
they cast a blanket punishment for everyone.
Well, they close the roads to protect the park, but and believe me, I'm just as angry as every hunter down south about this. But you got to have some kind of trade-off. So they're gradually coming back and opening more roads, but then they got to repair the damage, right, to the natural habitat. But you're right, Chris. You want to hear the real problem? In the meeting with the Assistant Commissioner of Parks, I basically said, it sounds to me that the park has been destroyed. And I then said, where's law enforcement? Right. And his answer to me was, and think about this, right? To be honest with you, DEP, Parks, Fish and Wildlife, they're at the bottom of the food chain in terms of getting a slice of the state budget.
Well, yeah.
The answer was Parks or park rangers, about 80 for the entire state. 80 for the entire state. Conservation police officers for fish and wildlife. I've been deer hunting this state since the late 80s. I've never seen a CPO in the woods. Never. You know why? There's only about 40 in Monmouth County right now. This is deer season. You may see one or two conservation police officers for the entire Monmouth County. Think about that for a minute.
I've seen one pheasant hunting. Deer hunting, I haven't. Pheasant hunting, I've seen one. It's like a Sasquatch. I can't believe it.
Even fishing. I mean, if I told you how much I fished, your eyes would bug out of your head. And the amount of officers that I've seen and the amount of times that I've had my license checked is like minuscule.
Yeah,
minuscule.
Tony, that's what I was talking about, right? Marine fisheries management. They need to get a bigger slice of the state pie.
We do have Frank Panico, the chief of
yes, Frank. Yes,
he's coming on an episode early December, I believe, and we definitely will talk about that too. See if there's any way, because obviously that's obviously the problem. There's not enough staffing for the. But my question would be, how come you can't use? I mean, I guess it's some kind of jurisdiction issue, but how come if it's a state park, how come a state trooper can't be paid to be posted there? Maybe make one entrance. You have to show your hunting license to get in. The hunters aren't the ones doing this to the property, right? I mean,
this is, I don't know the answer. Okay. But I'm just speculating on what the answer may be. If you send in a state trooper into Wharton Park to do the work of a parks officer, that state trooper is off the highway. That state trooper is not, managing people who speed, who could kill people, pedestrians, right? So you'll get a conflict there, right?
Yeah, I can understand.
So it's legitimate what you're saying. The bottom line is they're underfunded. They are. Okay. They truly are.
Tony, a lot of people are asking, is Merrill Creek Reservoir something that comes across your guys' desk a lot with complaints from access times?
I've heard of it, but not frequently.
I was going to bring it up because it's a situation where it's 100% a stocked fishery. The fishery was created through the state stocking program, which obviously funded by our licenses, but it's on private property. It's on,
so it's access. It's an issue of access, right?
And they have severely restricted our access times over the last couple of years, and so that's the situation.
It's on the radar screen. Yeah. Greenwood Lake is going to move forward. I could tell you that.
Well, that's a big one. I was going to ask that too. Yeah. I'm waiting for that boat launch because that's going to change my life.
That will happen. The funding is there. Okay,
when?
The funding. I don't know the exact schedule. I do know they have the funding.
They got $1 million, right? I'm pretty sure that's what they got in the article. It said $1 million was approved.
I can't confirm that, but if you've read that, I'll consider it as an accurate number.
Jesse,
I do know the funding is there.
Jesse Reed is asking if the NJOA plans on showing up to fishing tournaments and other events like this so that fishermen become aware of this organization.
Remember, the Army is 9 plus 3 right now. We don't intend to expand our numbers. We're going to stay at that level, but we'll depend, as I said, on other statewide organization and sportsman groups.
I mean, I tell whoever's asking the question, right? I mean,
well, there's another question about dirt bikes. Somebody's asking about there's a monster piece of woods being knocked down in Mount Laurel Hill.
Well, look, let me hold on. So, like, there's a bunch of questions. We obviously can't get to all of them, but like Tony said, reach out to them with these issues, and then you can find the piece. They put the pieces together. We find out which groups.
Like exactly like that like the beach buggies, Island Beach State Park.
Right.
They called, and Mark called me up and says, Tony, I got this situation. I didn't know about it. It was just announced in October.
You don't have a crystal ball. You can't know about everything.
No, I'm building a corporation and I'm acting as a trustee, right? And I'm working very diligently to get Jack in the red line column elected. I mean, there's a lot on my plate now, and I also support the Federation and UBNJ, and I did a Hunter Ed class just this weekend.
So basically, anyone that has specific questions as to, hey, they're closing this, hey, they're going to close that, they're going to do this, they're going to do that, what should they send an email? Should they leave a voice message? What's the best way?
Either way, I mean, communications are easy today. Send an email. But, I really want people to work with those organizations who are closely affiliated to the issue, right? Like we talked about brown bass. I mean, that's very specific. And keep in mind, we are there to help. We're kind of transitioning with the foundation, restructuring the foundation. Hopefully we'll put all the pieces together. That's all in the business plan. That is yet to be launched. We're working on it.
And we do appreciate that. And we appreciate you taking the time to come on here. And I have to thank you. I apologize we had problems getting you in here.
Yeah.
But is there anything you want to close with before we let you go that for anyone watching?
The election has gotten me and the trustees, we are super consumed by this. We're attending rallies. We're reaching out to the sporting community, the sporting organizations. We produce bumper stickers with the camp, with Jack's camp.
Yes, we have some of those.
Right? Is that one there,
that's
right?
Them, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the NJOA right there, right?
Scott McGahee sent us those. Shout out to Scott.
Exactly. We co-purchased within legal parameters 7,500 of them. The NJOA took 5,000 and Jack's camp took 2,500 for distribution. I mean, you don't snap a finger and that happens, right?
Right.
There's processes to be made, and our resources are limited. And again, the model that we've worked with for many, many years and that we're bringing back is we will rely on the sporting organizations, right, to participate with us. All right, if they have a cause, they have a mission. They should be the lead, and we will support. It's not the reverse, right? We will lead when it comes to issues within our scope, which is the legislature. That's where we will take a dominant step forward, and that's why Jack, kind of recruited us and said yes immediately. I mean, he knew, he knows.
Mike Connery, president of the Round Valley Trout Association, just said the RVTA supports the NJOA 100%.
Wonderful.
That's a fairly large organization.
Yes,
that
it is.
supports you right there. We're members of that as well. Yes. Shout out to Mike Connery.
Shout out is right, man.
Tony, thank you so much for taking the time to come on here. I'm sorry again. It was difficult to get you in.
It happens.
Obviously, with all the questions here that I'm going to have to go back and try to answer, we're going to have you guys back on.
We'll be glad to do that. Glad to do that.
But thank you so much.
You're very welcome. It was a pleasure meeting you both, and good luck to both of you. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Thanks again for everything you do. Like I said, behind the scenes, because you are an angler and a hunter as well, and you
Yes, I
take
am.
time out of that to do
Yeah.
this behind the scenes stuff
Yeah.
for us so that we can enjoy it. And anyone watching this live, obviously, is the day before Election Day.
Yep.
The episode stays up after Election Day, so it'll still be up. Hopefully,
Yeah,
Jack wins, considering the other candidate couldn't even give us the time of the day.
Right.
Yeah, that's about it.
You'll be well. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you, Tony.
Bye now. Bye.
See you later.
See you.
Yeah, so I didn't want to throw Tony into the fire there, but man, there are some tough questions here. I mean, and they're long ones. Really, really tough questions. We're definitely going to have the NJOA back on. Very interesting, but I kind of understand what he's saying is basically they're lobbyists. So in a nutshell, you have to go through another organization like the Federation or the Round Valley Trout Association or someone like that will then get them to do what they do.
Right.
That's the way I took that.
Yeah. So basically, like, just to use a completely
it's not like a town hall meeting where you could just show up and complain about shit. That's not
right.
What.
Right. So, like, just to use, I'm just going to make up this situation. This is not happening. This is not real. But, like, just to say, let's say the state on a state level decides they are going to turn half of Round Valley into something weird that you can't fish on, like half Round Valley or something like that. You would go to the RVTA, you go to the Round Valley Trout Association, right? And you'd work with them. They would, then in turn maybe go to the NJOA for help, going all the way up to Trenton or whatever.
And the NJOA may turn around to the RVTA and say, okay, give us some manpower. Give us 100 guys to pass out flyers. I think that's how this works.
Right. Yeah.
They're the lobbyists at the top of the tree, and then you have all the organizations below it, like the Federation, RVTA. But a lot of really good questions here. We're going to have them on again. We have the Federation coming on in December. And like Chris said, we have the head of the officers that are out there. So that's going to be a good one, too. A lot of really, nail biter episodes. But, yeah, I'm not going to throw a new guest into the fire like this because some of these are really hard.
And again, we don't prep these guests. Like the closest thing to prepping a guest we ever did was when we emailed the two gubernatorial candidates,
and Tony kind of wanted some. He's like, bullet points, and I said, I don't really do that. And I said, it just is the way it is. That's how we do this podcast.
We do sometimes ask, on our Facebook page, for example, we'll post ahead of time and people can turn in questions. If you do that, then we could possibly, because you can't answer a question that has that many details. No one person has that many answers on the spot. So in the future, if we're having, and we always announce the next guest for the following week on the past week's episode. So if you watched the last week's episode, you would have known someone from the NJOA was coming on.
Yeah, we usually say it at the end.
And you could have emailed the question, and then we would have been able to get, if it was a question that would have needed detailed answers, you know what I mean?
Andy still is saying 99% of fishermen haven't heard of them. I agree with that, Andy, but he said he is trying to rebuild the foundation. It's only 12 people. I don't know how much noise you expect them to be making right off the bat, but
it's guys like us and Andy that need to tell people. And I mean, I hope we did a little part in helping that situation right now.
He can go right to the Federation or a state council meeting without having to go to the NJOA. You can't go to the NJOA, Andy. You have to get one of these organizations like the Federation involved to then have the NJOA lobby for them. He basically explained it that way.
Yeah, maybe Andy fell asleep during part of the episode.
You must not listen to what the man said. I also have to say real quick, Yellow Dog Paddle, if you want to get out on the Delaware River, it's extremely low water still, but it did come up very little bit. Can still get a boat on there. Mike Herman does have a few dates left for the Delaware River jigging walleye, if you want to jig walleye from the Delaware River. Also, trolling trout on Round Valley. The bite's still been very good as it gets cold. The lake trout will come up higher the colder it gets. The more you're willing to suffer, the better the lake trout fishing gets on that lake.
I kind of want to go walleye jigging in the river. That's one place I'm very uncomfortable using my boat, like seeing stuff. Yeah.
You just ruined Yellow Dog Paddle's advertisement with your own walleye dream. There you go, Mike. There's a customer for you. Book Chris.
I'm saying that's my warning to anyone listening that's thinking about going. I'm going to take the damn date if you don't.
Yeah. Also, those smallmouth in that river too. They hit harder than lake smallmouth, and yeah, I'm not just making that up. It's really true. I've had smallmouth in the Delaware on blade baits almost rip the rod out of my hand. Like, it's unbelievable how they hit shit in that river.
Oh yeah, vicious. I mean that goes for most river fish. Most river fish, like the same species from a lake or a river, that just from the currents that they live in and stuff. But yeah, smallmouth. Like, are you going to catch, a state record size smallmouth? I don't know, maybe, but generally speaking. No, some of the lakes that have the big smallmouth, you're going to catch bigger fish. But the fish that are smaller size in the Delaware River, they're going to fight you harder than the big, fat, lazy ones. It ain't going to look as nice for your picture, but you're sure as hell going to have more fun fighting them.
Yeah, a lot of people in the chat writing about problems with ATVs and dirt bikes ripping up all kinds of land. Seems to be a thing I'm seeing over and over written here. My
biggest issue is these aren't licensed hunters and fishermen, and these people, and I get the whole, underfunded, the staffing issues with the enforcement of it. And I hope, we're definitely going to talk to Frank about that when he comes on. And I hope there's some kind of path to a solution to that.
I just want to state, I hate this rule. If you were allowed to have an ATV in New Jersey, I'd buy one right now. I don't know why they're illegal in Pennsylvania.
Well, they're illegal because of what people are doing with them.
Well, those people aren't hunters and fishermen. You should, if you have a hunting license, you should be allowed to buy a quad.
I don't disagree with that, and I bet you Frank won't disagree with that either. But I don't know. I'm not going to put words in his mouth, but ask him. Because they do the same thing at the state parks to an extent, at the state parks for boats, right? Look at Round Valley. You need to have if you have a fishing license, if you have a current valid fishing license, right? You can launch your boat and use the parking lot and the fish. If you don't, you need to, I believe, Perch. I've always had a fishing license, so I don't know, but you have to purchase, I believe, a separate permit to be able to use the boat ramp and put your boat onto the lake, right?
Yeah.
So, if you did something where with a valid hunting license, you were allowed to use an ATV in very specific ways, right? Like, you have to stay on certain trails, because the whole thing about the ATVs being banned is because they're destroying, a guy will drive off the path, destroy the wildlife, and over time, it becomes hard to replenish that. Right. But there's obviously a way to do it the proper way to do it.
All the states have it. You'd have to obviously just stay on designated trails. They have bike trails. I don't know. Obviously, New Jersey kids are just too immature for anything. They ruin everything for everyone. That's the gist of what's happening.
I don't get, just generally speaking, I don't understand why when there's a problem, the perpetrators aren't punished specifically. Instead, blanket punishments are made. I'll never understand that. I get that it's somewhat of an enforcement issue, basically, but I don't know. I guess my message to any anglers and hunters is if you see something, do something about. I'm not saying do something about it as in like tackle someone off their ATV to stop them from riding it. I mean, but
no, you have to be careful.
No,
I asked a guy one time if I could see his fishing license. I said, "Can I see your fishing license?" And this guy came charging right at me, like, telling me that I can't legally ask him to see that. I thought at the time though it had to publicly be displayed though. But yeah, as soon as you ask somebody that's breaking a law any question, they're just going to get very angry, especially if they're wrong.
I'm not saying, and obviously guys will say, "Oh, I called the number and nobody showed up," which does happen. And again, it's a staffing issue. It's a funding issue and enforcement.
A lot of people in the group are just continuing to complain that their voice can't be heard by the NJOA. That's not what the organization's for. This is what it's made for. Is what it is. There's other organizations where your voice could be heard as an individual person.
And then they work in...
Yes.
They work together.
As the Federation's going to come on in December, they'll explain how, and Andy is saying he can go to the meeting. The NJOA is not that kind of an organization. It wasn't made for that, to listen to single-person complaints.
Picture it like this. Here,
They're basically
for
like
everyone.
They're like a miniature NRA. They're like, you can't just complain to the NRA, but they're lobbyists that will fight for certain things.
Picture it like, imagine a ladder. Okay, you've seen the videos, like the old school videos of like the way firemen used to fight a fire on the top, right? You got the ladder, and you got the stack of firemen, and they pass the bucket of water up to the top, and the last guy throws it on the fire. Okay.
Yes.
The NJOA is higher up on the ladder towards the actual fire. Okay. You're down on the bottom. You and me, we're down on the bottom. The angler that's, not in these, you have to pass the water bucket up the ladder. All right.
They're saying middlemanning. It's not middlemanning, because the people that you complain to, like the Federation, will not fight it at a political level. The NJOA is the only ones that will fight it at a political level. The other ones are not political.
All I can say is Tony
said that they lost tremendous membership since 2008, and they are rebuilding it. It's up to 12 members that they currently
they're
have.
not members. That's the whole point. They're not it's
they're
not
trustees.
Like members of like that you can join. It's
everyone's yelling at us in the thing here that they can't complain directly to the NJOA here.
I'm still learning about this too, and we're trying to put it out there so everyone can learn as well. But again, like I said, imagine the ladder. The fire's at the top. You're on the bottom. You can't climb the ladder. You need to pass the bucket of water up the ladder. I mean, It's just the way it goes. You can complain about that all you want, but that's the reality. That's the way. That's how it is.
We can't just try to storm Merrill Creek with pitchforks and flaming arrows. Like, it has to be fought at a political level, and that's what this group would do if enough organizations complain to them. Not 100 emails from a crazed psychopath named Andy Still. That's not going to work. They need organizations.
I mean, if they get an email from a guy, the random dude, like they can't just assume that it's 100% true and snap their fingers and fix it. It's just not. That's not the way the world works. And you can complain about the way the world works all you want. I don't like a lot of things, but it is what it is. It's reality, right? So you got to work with reality.
Jesse Reed said he wants to come on the podcast and complain to us. Chris will give you a date right now. Anyone's welcome.
I've literally
want to do a complaint episode. We'll just complain about shit.
In the almost 3 years that we've been doing this, you want to know how many people I've said, no, you can't come on the podcast to?
One. I know it. One.
No, zero. Who?
I don't want to say his name. He's a guide on Greenwood Lake, gets attacked by
I
an
didn't
eggplant.
say no to him.
Well, yeah, I guess that's true. We didn't say no. We turned down free shit he wanted to give us. We'll say that.
Well, I mean, that doesn't mean he could come on. He could come on right now. If anyone knows him or say he could come on right now, just ask. All right. I've said no to 0 people, and I have invited people that have nothing nice to say about us or anyone else. I've invited them on. You know what happens when guys like that get invited on? They disappear. They turn into ghosts.
I don't want mean people on here. But Jesse does want to come on here and complain. John said that's a great idea. Get him on there for a complaint episode. It seems like he does have a lot of complaints.
Send the message. Just make sure we see it, and I get a contact info so that we can pick a date.
If you took anything from this episode at all, just know the NJOA isn't doing anything bad. If you're a hunter, fisherman, outdoorsman, outdoors girl, trapper, if you just like hiking, bike riding, anything that involves the parks, the NJOA is fighting on your side.
They are us. They're guys like us that love this same stuff. And they're taking time out of doing that more, and are taking time to do shit like this so that we don't have to.
See, Jonathan Schmallenberger saying they can't lobby to all the vacant seats on the Fisheries Council. Well, those seats aren't filled by the governor, who's currently in office right now. And the NJOA has endorsed their candidate that said he's going to fill those 2 seats. So how are they not doing what they're supposed to? That's lobbying. They're telling you who to vote for that's going to fill the seats.
They're endorsing certain candidates for positions so that those things can be done in the way that we want them to be done. The guy sitting there right now doesn't give a fuck about you. Okay? I'll just be blatant.
A lot of these complaints that the guys are, and Rock Chain Pickerel pretty much said it perfectly. This is stuff that you want to bring to the Federation. You want to get involved with the Federation if you really want to complain about this shit. The Federation would then, in turn, if it was a major issue, they would in turn get the NJOA to lobby for it politically.
Sometimes it's probably a more minor issue that they then maybe give advice, or that they have, like, the Federation themselves would be, oh, you guys could take care of this. Here's how you should do it. I don't know exactly.
And like I said, they're not doing anything bad, but no one really knows what they're doing. I guess I get that point because it is confusing, and also I didn't know who they were. And some other people brought the point about them getting their name out there more, which I can't disagree with.
That's what we're trying to help doing. I hope this is a piece to that.
Well, no one watches this, though. They got to go on a podcast. People
then who's complaining?
Bunch of people.
People are complaining.
There's a bunch of viewers in the chat that I just imagine in my head, and I just pretend there's people there, and I make shit up. But this has gone too long. Deuce is yelling at me.
All right. So the guest next week is Dan Mancari. I think I said it right. If not, I'm sorry.
Surf fishing episode. All you sick people can come back.
He's a buddy of mine, but only like through online presence. I've known him a long time through social media. I've met him once just randomly fishing, even though we tried to fish together a couple times. It didn't happen. But, this day and age, someone on social media, that's part of knowing. I consider him, buddy like that. He's coming on. He does a lot of surf fishing for Fluke. He also does
surf fishing. It's like the one facet of fishing we don't do. Like, I even go micro fishing for killies, but I don't go surf fishing. And it's very popular. Every time we do anything with surf fishing, it's huge. I think the number of surf fishermen in the state of New Jersey is insane.
And just shore fishing in general. I'm always I'm intrigued by it because the way I fish is, if I think that there's a better way to catch bigger fish or more fish, like I modify what I'm doing, right? So when it comes to shore fishing, I kind of very quickly jump to, oh, I could do this better from a boat. I can get more angles from a boat. I can cover more water from a boat, right? So I jump to that. But guys like Dan, they thrive off of shore fishing and like Delaware River walleye fishing from the shore only kills it. And I only know a couple of guys that can do that, and I love learning from them because, like I said, my mentality is kind of like get in a boat, like do it better
Me
from a
too.
boat.
And just to throw another point out there too, currently in the Mayhem tournament, first place Chuck Manny has no boat. He's on foot or being taken by friends. And third place, Bob Darling, I don't believe, to my knowledge, has a boat that I've seen him use. He's also on foot. He's gone with Fin Seeker a couple times, but mostly holding first and third place from land.
They do use boats. I mean, if you want to go through their lists of fish and see how many points they got from land, I'm sure it's significant difference.
Do you think so? I don't think Bob Darling has that many points from a boat.
I don't know. I'd need to know the list of species. I mean, any catfish could be from the shore.
To see first and third, they don't own a boat. That's enough. I mean,
that's true.
They're in first and third place, and they do not have a boat.
And Fast Eddie, his boat is broken. I believe he uses a kayak sometimes, but he's in a similar situation.
Fast Eddie has like more shore spots than any person on earth. Like he knows every shore spot.
I mean, yeah, Chuck Manny's the same way, and I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's not like I typed if Bob Darling or Fast Eddie called me and asked me to go and we go fishing and use my boat, I don't give a shit.
They hate us. They won't call us. They're on a team against us, I think, secretly.
I don't know. I got every time Chuck Manny takes me, I gotta bring him. I'm trying to catch him in the thing, and he's fishing right next to me in my boat.
Yep, and he's usually catching the fish. It's unbelievable. So we will be back next week with a surf fishing guest for all the seasick people that they're finally going to get an episode again to get all excited and make fun of us. But yeah, this guy actually does catch really cool stuff from shore, so it should be cool. We'll be back next week. Like we said, Jesse Reed, if you really want to come on the podcast, send us a message or an email. Chris will schedule you in. Hats. The hats are back in stock. I bought so many hats so I'd never have to deal with them again, but the camouflage one is running out somehow. I guess because it's hunting season. So if you do like the camouflage hat, I would buy one of those ASAP. Other than that, I am done.
Can I do it now?
Yes.
All right. Suffer for the fish. See you next.